Hi, welcome back to another episode of Industrial Strength Podcast, a podcast more focused on the industrial fire departments and industrial hazmat responses. I'm Steve, a hazmat technician with 4 years of experience on emergency response team within the industrial field, and with me again, as always, are my co-hosts Randy and Jeff.
How's it going? I'm Jeff. I'm a hazmat technician with 20 years of fire department experience, with 10 being in the industrial side. Randy?
Hey everybody, name is Randy. I'm a hazmat specialist with I got 18 years on industrial fire department. Woo! Started out doing hazmat. I know. Woo! Yes, another year down. Like 12 more to go or something allegedly.
That's nothing.
I know. So what do we got today, Steve?
Today we're going to be talking about a possible, I think, our first in a mini-series of all of our first calls. And this one it's smoke. Oh, wait, no, that's not smoke.
Smoke.
So
do tell.
So on this particular one, we're talking about a call we had some years back where chemical operations building was performing a routine task of product workup where they happened to be charging in a room, and all of a sudden they noticed a big white cloud of smoke.
That's
or so they thought.
You mean that's not normal?
I mean, it is when I do it, but...
But for them, no. Probably not.
So, operations immediately contacted ERT for support in determining the source of the issue and help with remediating this problem. Now, while performing an initial evaluation, ERT started discussing with the operations team on what chemicals were involved in the process, where they were at with the process, just kind of to get a general idea of the situation, because at the time they couldn't enter the room because it was kind of quarantined off for being filled with smoke. Didn't want to just walk in blindly.
Yeah, so that makes it as critical as you can get for a scene size up when you can't actually get to the scene.
Yeah. All right, so Steve, what chemicals were they using?
So amongst many other chemicals, the big ones in this process are chlorine, N-butyllithium, THF.
So nothing too bad.
No, not yet.
No hazards
Nothing
yet.
that would cause smoke at all, especially in the air.
Lithium. Come on now. As bad as the one I hate the worst. Eyeball.
Yep. So then there was also THF, EVE, ethyl vinyl ether, for those who don't know.
Dude, it's like you have a villains league going on of chemicals in this building in this process.
And this is just one area.
I know.
And then two that kind of dawned to everyone's head were TFAA, which is trifluoroacetic anhydride, and TEA, which is triethylamine.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who aren't aware, TFAA is one by itself that's a little hygroscopic and wants to react with water.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, just like that N-butyllithium will too. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the N-butyllithium you tend to see a flame on, though, when that one comes up.
Yeah. That's a little bit of a violent flame, too.
Yes.
Yeah. Mediocre.
Yeah. Okay.
So, while doing some research on the process, it was noticed that in the sequence of events going on in this process, a feed tank gets pre-charged with the TEA, and it just sits there under pressure, roughly 5 pounds or less PSI of pressure, just holding, waiting to be transferred into the main reactor tank later on in the process.
And is this feed tank close, Steve?
Well, this feed tank is kind of in the corner of a room. However, there's a second feed tank that's a portable tank that was also getting pre-charged later on in the process, which was the current point in the process that they're at, that gets pre-charged with the TFAA. That happened to be sitting roughly about 8 feet away from the main feed tank that holds the TEA.
Yeah. And then for maybe clarification for listeners, like the room you're talking about, is it, I know like in industry, some rooms are airlock rooms. Was this a special room, like an airlock room, or no?
It was special, but not in the sense of like an airlock. You can walk right in through normal doors. You can shut them to kind of cordon off the area, but they're not positive pressure or anything, so all the vapors will move out. This does happen to be in a specialty area where the room itself is kind of designed for explosive reactions if a high energy reaction were to take off.
Gotcha.
So 3 walls and ceiling are all made of 18-inch reinforced concrete with rebar. And then the fourth wall...
That's not very thick.
No,
time, distance, and shielding, baby.
It's about this thick,
absolutely.
all right? But then the fourth wall is just corrugated sheeting. So any type of high energy reaction that releases will go out in the directed path through the corrugated.
The path of least resistance.
Yeah. So by design. Okay. Yeah, blowout section.
Yep. So, Randy, coming from the chemistry side of things, based on the 2 last chemicals we were talking about, can you imagine anything that might cause that white smoke?
Yeah, for certain. So, like, when first thing that comes to my mind, TFAA is a chemical by itself, but like you said, it likes to react with water. And when it does that, it has a very specific reaction where it will split into 2 different acids. So the TFAA, while it's acidic, will make 2 different acids, even in like air because of the water moisture. And so you got on one hand an acid, and then triethylamine is a well-known base that loves to react with acids as well. So you got an acid, and you got a base. So those 2, to me, acid-base reactions, that's chemistry 101 right there. Yeah, it's a no bueno. And so, the 2 acids the TFAA makes, one is much stronger than the other, and that would be acetic acid. The other is just kind of like a more basic carboxylic acid. But yeah, it would definitely react for certain. And so that's what I would be eyeballing first, just from looking at those 2. So, but yeah, TFAA is also really interesting because if you ever accidentally contact with water, that's also one of those things where it reacts very exothermically with water. So if you accidentally add it to the wrong thing, it's going to get really, really hot really, really quick. So it has the potential to heat water exceedingly well.
Yes, which interesting story. In the operations for these processes, it actually calls out a warning that if you come in contact with the TFAA, to immediately rinse it off with water.
Yes. Because I think same kind of thing where, like, if you get the
wrong with that one?
Well, it's better to react with the water that you hit it with from a faucet than to let it pull moisture out of your skin, right? Because it's going to do that, then it's going to cause a chemical reaction. So it's going to dehydrate you, which is a bit of a burn, and then it's going to create 2 acids, which is going to go back to burning you again. So it's like you get like triple threats there.
So I might know some people that thought it would be safer to rinse off with methanol first and then water.
Oh, gosh.
What? That's terrible.
Steven, did you do that?
I would never do something like that. I'm a rule follower. You know that, Jeff.
I got nothing for you on that one.
Yeah, good times. Only the best.
I learned from you.
Fair enough. True story.
All right. So like I said, that's what I would think. Given those chemicals, I would think that you would see a reaction with the trifluoroacetic anhydride and the triethylamine. But it's got to be on a day with that reaction is much more likely to happen spring, summer, and fall when you still have decent amounts of water vapor in the air.
So
very humid days.
Say that.
Yeah,
I
humid
do
days
believe
for sure.
from recollection that this may or may not have happened late summer.
Oh, so it's super humid.
About shift change around day to night shift. So, probably one of the more humid points in the day.
Yeah.
Just before the sun starts going down and cooling off.
Yeah. So that vapor, whatever the small bits of acetic anhydride, will then definitely react with a water vapor, making an acid gas, more or less, or small particulate acid in the air. Suspended. Yeah.
So at this point in the investigation, our ERT team kind of felt fairly confident that it was probably those two specific chemicals that we've been talking about, the TFAA and the TEA. However, the operator who was performing the charge of the TFAA at the time of the incident, he, needless to say, was kind of uncomfortable with any type of questionable scenario. And when he saw relief coming in from the off shift, he ran.
Oh, gosh.
He wasn't sticking around to help out with this investigation to let him know what exactly was taking place in there.
So your witness kind of up and left, man.
Yep.
Phenomenal. I would like to say that is like a rare occurrence, but I can think of like 2 or 3 other times off the top of my head that we've had that happen.
I can think of a couple this year.
Only 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, this year, like in the last 12 months. Like, yoink, I'm out. Good luck.
I was thinking about maybe the last 6 months, but we'll go with 12 months.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you can narrow it down to 6 months. Yeah, I'd say we'd had 2 or 3 in the last 6 months too.
Yep. So with that being said, there was no type of a background on the situation going on in there to kind of give us an indication of what exactly could have caused those two to come in contact with each other. I mean, on a normal routine basis, these are always charged in this exact same manner, stored that close together within their own feed tanks. Mm-hmm. And like I said, there's positive pressure on the one tank, so that should be keeping it all inside, you would think.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, it just so happens that the unlikely scenario in this case was, because we couldn't really come up with a causation for it and didn't know how to remediate it due to that, there was a partial drum of TFAA remaining there that would have been getting charged the remainder into that feed tank. So it was kind of discussed between operations and us that, hey, why don't we just let operations finish charging that drum into the tank and get it out of the scenario altogether?
Good idea. Try and limit your bad actors.
Yep. So, Jeff, what would you think we would typically use for PPE if we were to respond into this scenario?
Oh, that's a great question.
Well, yeah, I really would think at a minimum you're going to be using a level B. That sounds like splash protection. I definitely SCBA. I may lean. I may differ with this on Randy, but I may lean towards a level A, the fully encapsulated suit. Your vapor tight SCBA.
Yeah, I might tend to agree with you only because, like, knowing if it's TFAA and it might be reacting in the air. It's either an acid gas or aerosolized gas, and so it's going to work the same way, man. I would hate to have someone put on a level B and have it find the exposed areas of their skin.
Yep. I think if we do a good job at taping up everything, you could make it work. Mm-hmm. But I think on this instance, I would go level A for sure.
I would actually agree with that, just because the room was completely filled with what appeared to be vapor cloud smoke. You can't really tell where the issue's coming from.
Yep.
So I'd probably be more worried about the aerosolized version.
Yeah, and it probably wasn't any good with changing the environment, right? Yeah. I was just saying, there's no good way of changing the enviment, right? To kind of air out the space.
Yeah, you have corrosive vapors, aerosol mist. For sure.
Because with the particular layout of this room, the only way to kind of air it out is to open the doors to a general hallway that is heavily trafficked. So
we're just pushing nasty gas into
that. Absolutely.
That's cool. We'll do that.
Yeah,
it's out of our place. It's cool.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time operations did something like that.
What's the response plan? What do we have to do for this?
So, I mean, with the unknown scenario of why the two were coming in contact with each other, like I said, we kind of discussed it and decided, well, let's take that one factor of the TFAA drum that was open out of play. Maybe there was some water reacting with it from the air or got spilled on top of it. We didn't know. So we decided to let operations just go ahead and charge that into the feed tank, the remainder of the drum, and get it out of play.
Yep.
That being said, this happened to be my first call, and I was the lucky one from operations who hadn't even been on the team yet who got to do the charging.
You lucky guy.
Yeah,
Excellent.
you know. Yeah. It's great being comfortable with almost any situation.
But agreed. I mean, it is comfortable coming from an operations background because you're used to doing a bunch of weird things in PPE.
Absolutely.
And
so
you know,
we kind of discussed what our PPE would have been, but for this call, because operations was performing it, they don't have the same type of PPE that we have.
agreed. So you're right, and maybe that's a good way to digress that because operational staff's PPE is different from emergency response's PPE. It always has been.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
I came up through operations many years ago, and yeah, while I was comfortable wearing the PPE, it was not exactly the same stuff. So, Steve, I mean, since you had to put it on, man, especially for this call, what did they have you wearing for this kind of operation where you're obviously handling acetic anhydride and you're handling triethylamine as a base? What did they have you do?
So for the triethylamine as a base, typically it's just a chemical splash apron with chem gloves like we wear in our suits, and then a bibbed air hood that has supplied air from plant air.
Excellent.
Now, with the TFAA, on the other hand, that's a little more corrosive, a little more worrisome if you were to get it on you. So their protocol for that is to actually wear an air jacket with supplied air, which has the chem gloves attached to it with a retaining ring. And then, believe it or not, exactly the same type of waders that you would wear fishing.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that always threw me for a loop, man. When I first became an operator and I had to get the PPE, I'm like, waiters? What are you talking about, man? But yeah, because
so for those of you who are kind of questioning what an air jacket is, it's basically a big old, I would call it bubble blowout plastic. I don't even know exactly what the material is. Do you, Randy? Is it just a polypropylene?
I have no idea what it is.
I would almost guess
at the time I wasn't a chemist and I took it for granted. They said this is what you wear and that's what I wore. I didn't even think twice about it, man. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Throw it on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. So I look at it as kind of like a half moon suit, like astronauts would wear, kind of looking thing.
Actually, I think you're more accurate with that than not.
Yeah, because
I mean, you got a big old visor in the front that you can look through, but it's colored plastic everywhere else.
It's like, what was the brand? It was like Bullard or Respirex or something?
So I believe Respirex is a big name brand that we use, yes.
Yeah, because you're right, because okay,
really, to be honest, it's more like a half of a level A suit.
Yes, very much so, except the material moves much easier.
Yes, it's much more versatile.
And the gloves can be swapped out. There's like this weird locking ring system where you can put in gloves of your choice.
Now, with that being said, the flip side to that is I would much rather have a level A arm and glove system than what those jackets have, because those rings that you twist on to lock them in place, they always want to fall down over your hand. They never want to stay in place. They get in the way. It's a pain in the ass.
They were notoriously difficult to put in.
Yes.
Bunch of stuff in the level A suit you can't do shit with.
Yes, in a different way, but
yes.
But my hands had much more dexterity in the level A, believe it or not, when they don't have a ring closing the fingers on me.
How weird. Yeah. So you go around looking like kind of like the Gordon's fisherman. You got this half level A up top, some sweet fishing waders on the bottom.
Let's go fly fishing.
That's right.
So with this particular call, we actually let operations, or myself, I should say, go in that particular PPE that we would have been wearing on a normal charge, with second operation personnel staged just outside the doors with line of sight, because the doors do have window, and air jacket and waiters as well. And then as ERT, we did a standby. So we were ready to go in if need be, but we were hoping kind of for the best in this scenario, that operations would be able to mitigate their situation on their own.
Yeah.
So Stephen, what was the outcome?
Yeah.
So after charging that full drum of TFAA, and just after time letting the cloud kind of dissipate itself within the room, there was no clear-cut sign of what caused this. We metered the area. There was nothing that we could tell that was going on, any type of exothermic reactions with a tick. So kind of turned it back over to operations to run out the process at this point. And then in between lots, after the lot was completed, it was actually noticed during a leak test of the main feed tank that the manway had a leak. The gasket wasn't holding. So,
okay. So it's pushing stuff out.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, when you would talk about having positive pressure on a tank to hold the contents in a stable state, when you got a leak on the manway to the exterior, that pressure kind of actually does the opposite. It pushes all the vapors right on out.
Yeah.
Minor details.
So that, coupled with the open drums being charged with TFAA that tend to have vapors come out on their own, yeah, the two kind of mixed.
So let me ask you guys this question as a bit of an academic exercise. So knowing what you have, those two chemicals, thinking about if you had to go in as a hazmat team, right? If you had to make entry, let's say the worker, in this case, Steve, was you, but let's say you got injured somehow and you had to make entry. Like, what would you want to take in with you for meters to try and prove what you had? Or maybe conversely, if you had to do a line of sight grab, how would you decon that guy? Do you guys have any thoughts about that?
So I guess it depends. Are we talking on a completely unknown where we don't know what all chemicals are involved in the process?
The facts we got. We knew it was TFAA and triethylamine.
So personally, pH paper will help determine for the TFAA side with the acidicness to it. I also kind of like possibility of maybe some colorimetric tubes.
Yeah, okay.
I know, old school.
Yep, but that works, man. Keep it simple.
Keep pumping, yes. What about a PID?
Absolutely.
I know a PID will catch your acetic anhydride for sure.
Yep.
Because it comes in right around a 10.
So I believe it'll actually catch both.
What?
But I'm not sure what bulb the TEA would hit on.
Well, give me a second to look. Just like any good hazmat technician. Let me go look it up. I got a reference material.
Yeah, that was my next question, is what bulb are we going to use?
Oh, man. Triethylamine's got a super low IP of 7.5. So you can see them both with our 10.7. Or what is it, 10.6? And 11.7? 10.6. So 10.6 will catch them both. So it'll let you know. And, obviously, in the downside to using the PID is it's not selective for each chemical, so it's just going to see everything it can light up.
Right. But I think it's a general. I mean, I think it's a good start.
Right, but I think in conjunction with that pH paper, then you're onto something, because the pH paper will kind of trend to change color for the majority product. And if you got like the wide range 0 to 14, if it turns acidic and you're getting your hits, the majority of it's going to be your acetic anhydride. And if it's a blue for base, it's your triethylamine.
Yep.
So you just got to make sure you got the right correction factor.
To hit, it's making an acid, so you know what you're looking for there.
Yep, agreed. But thanks. Yeah, it's just one of those things where always thinking through what would you do, right? What would you do if someone went down? What would you want to take in to prove what you got, or maybe how would you clean up from it, right? Emergency decon, RIT kind of stuff.
Yeah. So what kind of decon are you going to use?
So myself personally, either you can go the route of copious amounts of water, because even though it does react with the water, it's not going to react with a large pool of water.
Mm-hmm. Or it's better react on the outside of your skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or another solution that might be beneficial, maybe not necessarily if it's on the person directly, but it would also work, but more for just contaminated area, would be a sodium bicarbonate solution.
Oh,
if you made it into a weak base, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, and start neutralizing those acids. Yeah, it's a great call. Yeah, and that's something we keep on the truck, right? We keep a bunch of bicarb on the truck for doing those kind of neutralizations. So, but yeah,
Personally, I think I'd run to the safety shower and just use copious amounts of water.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the other nice thing about being in an industrial facility. We got those showers everywhere.
Yes.
So the one's never far away. So that would probably be a pretty good idea.
We can worry about the downstream effects later, but...
Right. We can always treat outflows.
Yep.
Yeah. But then a small amount probably wouldn't even register a blip.
No, I don't think they'd even see that.
Right. Yeah. So,
and I thought one last interesting fact with this call is discussions with the operations group after the fact. And this is within operations, not from the ERT side of things. Within shifts, it was told what had happened, you know, what the cause was, and another shift mentioned, oh yeah, we noticed that like 2 or 3 times in the last month and a half.
They didn't say anything?
Nope.
Oh.
That never happens.
Excellent.
So those things you just like face palm and say, for fuck's sake. Come on.
Can't fix stupid.
Nope, you sure can't, man. You just try to mitigate it. What?
So,
hey, Randy.
Jeffrey.
Hold on. Let me have to address something here a minute, Randy.
Yeah.
I heard something coming out of your mouth that usually is out of mine.
Pirate talk?
It
for
was.
fuck's sake.
I'm impressed.
Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes that comes out, man.
And Jeffrey, I also noticed that you displayed something that Randy usually does today.
Oh, what was that?
Restraint.
Oh, fair enough.
We're job
I saw
trading.
the wheels turning and you didn't say it. So good job.
Nope, I know exactly where you're going with that, and I did not.
We're job trading. It's cool.
You came real close. I saw the tongue get a bit.
You saw those wheels turning.
And I knew exactly what the thought was.
Because you were thinking it too.
So, Jeffrey, for our listeners out there, how can they reach out to us if they have any type of similar scenarios that they'd like to discuss?
You can reach out to us like several people already have. hazmatharder@gmail.com.
Perfect.
That's
Randy,
right.
what do we have coming up next?
Our next episode is going to be pretty interesting. We're talking about fire, putting out a fire with chemicals. So, fire extinguishment without water.
Wait, I thought chemicals are what caused the fire.
Sometimes it can be a problem and the solution.
Solution to pollution.
That's right. Exactly. So that's what we're talking about next
Pollution is
time.
a solution to the pollution.
Can be.
Can be.
Can be.
Yes.
It's true. We can talk about that in another episode.
Absolutely. Yes. So, as always, thank you guys for listening. And until next time, Hazmat Harder.
Yep, Hazmat Harder.
Hazmat Harder. Yeah, thank you.